Good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon, Mr. Marcus, the nation's trader, the #1 gold trader. Good afternoon, Stephen. And I'm sure you're mobilizing wherever you are for Sunday. Good afternoon, Mrs. Sophie. Good afternoon. I've got a very, very short time with you all, so tell a friend to come on as soon as possible so we can start. I won't take much of your time. I'm just going to be on very, very briefly. Of course, you've probably seen the title. It's called Our Numbers. Our numbers, because that's what I'm going to be speaking about. Along the same lines of what I was speaking about yesterday, just further emphasizing what I was talking about yesterday. And be prepared to be sick of me, actually. Let me just pre-warn you from now. Be prepared to be sick of seeing me. I'm just going to be coming on randomly as much as possible. So be prepared. You're wondering, where's Pastor Farah on all the time now? I'm just going to be coming on. We are in mobilization time. We're in a mobilization period. Of course, this weekend is a jam-packed weekend full of many stuff that we're doing, things that we're trying to achieve. Of course, from today, our Thursday service, all the way up to tomorrow for our Friday all-day event. Then, of course, Saturday. Then, of course, Sunday, our female-led, our Phoebe service, titled Phoebe's Excellence, Enterprise, and Relationship. And then, of course, Monday for our ENG Cypher, which, of course, is going to be very, very powerful. But for time's sake, good evening, Pastor Ryan, Mr. Money Culture himself. But for time's sake, okay, I've just seen that the time of my next meeting has been moved from 2 o'clock to 2:30. So I now have a little bit more time. So I'll give it another 2-3 minutes to allow people to join. Good afternoon, Pastor Hannah. TMC is on this afternoon. Pastor Jennifer, good evening. Pastor Jennifer, I'm still going to my secret place of prayer. I only go there just for you, just so more contracts can be awarded for your car. I'm praying LV. I'm praying that LV sign your agency. That's my prayer this year. I just pray that if Louis Vuitton can just sign that company that Pastor Jennifer works for. Of course, only Pastor Jennifer will understand that. Yeah, obviously I've just seen I've got a little bit more time, so I'm gonna play around for maybe just 2 minutes, because I know it's 1:30 and everyone is at work, and everyone is doing what they're doing. So I may just go straight into. Of course, I've titled this afternoon scope simply our numbers, because we've been given a mobilization to focus on. Matter of fact, we've been given two mobilizations to focus on. We have this Sunday and we have this Monday. Of course, naturally, Sunday is going to be our priority, and making sure that that is what it needs to be, because it's our Father that's called for it, Apostle Toby. Yes, he did call for the Mondays as well, but there is obviously something that the Word is trying to do with the global women. What he's trying to do with a new generation of Phoebes. So of course our target is 500, and of course for the ENG and the elite family, our own allocation of that is 150. So simply what we're saying is as the elite and the ENG church, we're actually going to mobilize and make sure that we bring 150 people to that service. And to be honest, that isn't anything challenging. The only reason we may think it's challenging is because of the way we've been brought up. Because to someone else, 150 people isn't a lot of people, you know. And P. Sam was actually saying yesterday, because I was at the service, he was actually saying to our community, £10,000 a month is a lot of money, but to somebody else, £10,000 is something that they spend in a day. You know, so target is actually according to how we see things. And the example he began to use was, you see, if you go to the university, let me just use Bedford because I'm from there. If you go to the University of Bedford and you sit an exam there, you know, you may be awarded with a first class. And I hope nobody on this scope went to the University of Bedford, because I'm not trying to downgrade your uni. Of course, mindset. He was saying the same assignment paper that you've submitted there in Cambridge or Oxford might actually be a fail. You know, but based on the construct or based on the environment that you're in, things are seen differently. So when we've been given the mobilization task of actually registering 150 people in the space of 3 to 4 days for our upbringing, it may seem like it's something that's difficult to do. But for someone else that's been brought up in maybe a political family, someone that has been raised in the house of somebody that is contesting for an MP, or someone that is contesting for a governorship, gathering 150 people in the space of 3 days is too small. What they do is they actually gather 10,000 people in the space of 3 days. That's the kind of mobilizers that the Word is trying to raise. But of course, without training, and this is what Pastor Sam began to speak about, without training, of course, we will never get to that stage. So what happens is we've actually enrolled into a university called PT. We've actually enrolled into a university called The Family. And what this university is set out to do is to actually make us into the most successful, the most richest and wealthiest family in the world, and the most powerful. So that's what we are being trained for. But, you know, we don't just arrive on the stage of the world's most powerful and wealthiest family without going through training. And what does training look like in this family? Training looks like targets. So the targets that we're actually given is our training ground. You know, Pastor Sam said something which I took on yesterday. He was actually saying, you see, let me read it. Okay, he was saying, you see, people say things like, you know, I love a PT, or I love a Pastor Nikki. I love a Pastor Obi. I love a Pastor Toby. But you see, the proof of your love isn't in just the words that you say. You know, when we was a child, let me just use that analogy. That might have been something that we can use, but as we now grow in this work, the proof of that love must be shown in action. And not just any action, but in the action of response to the targets that we've been given. So how do we now prove that we love this vision? How do we now prove that we love the Word? It's actually in the response to the word that is given to us. It's not in the sending heart emoji. It's not in the sending fire emoji. That's not how we prove that we love the word or we actually love this vision. What we do is when the word comes out and the word says that on a Sunday, we need 500 females in central London. What we do is we actually mobilize. So if someone loves a PT or loves this vision, they'll be saying, I'm bringing 10 people to this service. That's how you prove that you really love this vision. Because it's in the response of the demand that is given that you prove your love for a thing. Let me read a scripture just to establish what I'm saying there. Let me just read this. John 21:15. It said, when they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said. You know that I love you, Jesus said. So let me read that properly. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said. You know that I love you. But of course, Jesus would then go and say, or Yehoshua would then say, feed my lambs. Because he knows that it's not in you saying that you love me. Because anyone can say that. But what Jesus will begin to do, he will begin to enroll him into the training called global leadership. And P. Sam was talking about this yesterday. You see, in the training called global leadership, you will actually have to what leadership will begin to do. Leadership will actually begin to test your words by giving you a demand. So the demand Jesus will give Peter here is actually saying, if you actually love me, what you will have to do is you will have to display that love. Because in words, you cannot display. Yes, words are important and they're very powerful. But you see, the display of those words or the display of the action is also just as important. So he's saying the only way, Peter, that I will know, or the only way, Peter, you will become a global leader is if you can actually do these things. If you can feed my sheep, if you can now fulfill these words that I've given you, you can actually begin to enroll into the journey called global leadership. So, we've all come to the family and we've all heard the word on the most successful and the richest family on earth. But that is great. We've heard it. Now, as we begin to enroll, because, you can just look at a course, you can read the paper of the course, what you're going to study there. But then eventually you will then enroll, you decide to enroll, you decide, actually, I want to be a part of this family. And once you said that you want to be a part of this family, and all the family is saying is that we want to make you a global leader, what will happen is a set of tests, a set of demands will now be put on you to see, are you actually up to scratch? Are you actually ready to become a global leader? So this weekend, there's actually a test that has been put in front of us, a test called our numbers. Because it's in the numbers that we mobilize to Sunday that we can actually begin to see who is a solution provider here. So you see, every problem that is put in front of us is actually just looking for the one or two people that are actually going to be the problem solvers. I think PT was saying this the other day. I think P. Sam and Pastor Nick was also saying this. You see, solutions, they all exist already. They exist in men. That so what we think, I think, and let me just quote the way P. Sam said it yesterday. He was saying some of the things that we think don't exist already exist in men that exist. I'm butchering that. Let me see how I wrote it down. Things that do not exist. So things that do not currently exist now or have not been discovered exist in men. So you see, if we're saying, or if someone is saying, you see, the mobilization is hard, or 2 days, whatever, and it shouldn't be. Like I mentioned, that's already based on our own upbringing, because someone that is born up in a family of politics, they already know they're mobilizing 10,000 people in the space of a couple of days. But you see the solution to Friday's problem, the solution, sorry, to Sunday service is hidden in somebody that's listening right now. But the word has to come out so that they can begin to understand that it is in them. So I wrote something else here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me tell you. Okay, so I wrote, and this was from yesterday. The word is supply, and target is the demand. So and you will have to respond to supply with demand so you can be supplied again. So as the word is coming out, that's our supply, that's our energy that we need to go and do what we need to do. So when I was asked what is the strategy for this Sunday service, I already know that my first strategy that I'm gonna use is the strategy called the word. That's the first strategy that I'm gonna display, because it is from the word that begins to actually supply us with the necessary faith to go and begin to actually action out the things that we've been asked to do. Of course, yes, we'll then do things like socials and all of these things, but the first and the foremost, most important thing is the word, because the word is where our supply is. So when a PT is simply speaking, is actually a supply, so we can actually meet the demands that are given to us. And it's then using those demands that we get more supply. So you can see that it is a cycle. Supply is there is a supply and there is a demand that needs to be met. So simply this Sunday there is a demand of 500 people, and it's our job to make sure that that demand is met, because it is in meeting that demand that we are actually entering the arena called global leadership. You may not see how, or you may not see how that happens, but what we have to trust and believe is that as we're doing the things that have been set in front of us, we are actually becoming the global leaders that we're supposed to be. And as the third gen and the fourth gen, and as everyone, to be honest, the second gen, we actually have the luxury of seeing leaders that have actually enrolled in this school before us. We have the luxury of seeing leaders like a Pastor Nikki, leaders like a Pastor Obi, leaders like a Pastor Ndidi, leaders like a Pastor Sam, people that enrolled in the School of Global Leadership. When they was given targets, when they was given soul mobilization targets, when they was given C targets, we can now see how actually them sitting those tests has now, or where that has now taken them now. So imagine you might be a Sophie or a Marcus or a Reese, a Sarah, a Richard, or anyone that's new listening and actually thinking, what is there, what does this training lead to? It's global leadership. That's what this training is actually getting us to. So I know I said I wouldn't be on for a long time. I just literally thought, let me just quickly come on here and charge everyone up, because we have a task to do. We still have a long way to go in terms of our registration numbers, and that is the responsibility of all of us. It's not just the responsibility of one or two, even though in it being the responsibility of all of us, it's still looking for the one or two. But I'm just determined that that I'm going to be one of the one or two, and I hope that's the case for you as well. I hope you're taking this mobilization as actually I'm the one or two that this mobilization is looking for. Because like I mentioned yesterday, demand is actually a privilege. When we get given these targets and these mobilizations, it's actually a privilege. It's actually an opportunity for someone's rising. When the demand of who is going to be the savior of the black race, when a Martin Luther King actually saw that, you see, my people are being treated unfairly. That was a demand. And what the word at that time was looking for, who is going to be the man or woman that will rise in this time for the liberation of these people. So a Martin Luther King actually saw that demand and that problem and said, actually, I will be the one to rise for the sake of these people. And in him rising for those people was also his own rising. That's what began to take him to the global stage. So if we still remember a Martin Luther King today, and we still preach about a Martin Luther King today, is because of the demand that he met. He didn't just think, I'm going to leave it to somebody else. He didn't just think, oh, over time, this problem will be solved. No, he actually said, whether it means that I will have to die for this cause, I will die for it. And he did. Those are the type of people that the world is looking for now. That people that are just going to say, I'm not going to wait for the masses to do it. I'm not going to wait for COD. I'm not going to wait for CNG. There's actually someone in ENG saying that I'm going to be the person that will rise and make sure that we meet our numbers. That's what the world is looking for now. I was speaking to Pastor Ryan just before I came on, and he was researching the lady who solved malaria. Her first trial was on a monkey. And then when it came to experimenting on human beings, she actually said that I'm going to experiment this thing on myself. She said that if no one is willing to actually allow this potential cure, this lifesaver to be tested on them, I will do it. For the love of people that are 50,000 kilometers away. Can you imagine? What's her business with malaria in China? But she just said that there is a demand here. There is a demand. There is a demand for these people, and she just said that I'm willing to be the person. I will inject this vaccine or this medicine into myself. And this is after giving 10 or 20, 30 years of her life just to find the cure. So are you going to be the person that's going to say, you see this mobilization, I'm going to bring the 50, I'm going to bring the 100. You might even be as bold to say the whole 500 people target, I will bring it, because that's where we're going. Eventually, every single leader in this forum should be able to command a community of 5,000 people each. But you won't just get to commanding a community of 5,000 people without being able to bring your 5. That's the training. Because in sparring, you're actually sparring, you're seeing, okay, and then you get a better opponent, then you spar, then of course, and then eventually you get on the global stage. And then even when you get on the global stage, you're still fighting, you're still defending, because by the time you reach the global stage, your training even has to intensify. Because now you're trying to retain and protect your global, whatever it is in boxing that they have, world championship. So a world champion doesn't train any less. They actually train more. And I wish people like Pastor George was on right now. He'd be in the comments letting me know, since he's a MMA fighter or Muay Thai, whatever it is that he was doing when he was giving us topless vibes. So I think another thing that I wrote, don't become a because person. Become a because of me things happen person. So we can't be, oh yeah, we didn't meet this because this happened, or because there's 2 mobilizations going on at the same time, or because whatever. No, what every individual should strive to is to become a because of me. We was able to successfully mobilize 100 people on a Sunday, and also mobilize 100 people on a Monday. Stephen should actually be able to say, because of me, I was able to get 100 people tuned in on the stream. Because yes, you might not be able to meet and be here physically with us, but what your job then is to do is to make sure that you're mobilizing people to be tuned in online. So that when we're looking at the phone and we're seeing there's 200 people on, it should be 400, because a Stephen is mobilizing people wherever he is to tune in. So you can't be, because I'm not there. You're actually saying, because I'm not there, I'm able to get XYZ amount of people to tune in. And that's the same for a Marcus. You might be far, but you're still saying, because of me, I set up a Prosom Academy that even if I'm not there because of work, I am able to make sure 10 people are at an ENG Monday. That's what you should be striving to become. Because every situation is actually an opportunity for your lifting. I wrote something, and I remember Pastor Nikki always used to say this, is that you see problems, don't define them prematurely. Or when you find yourself in situations, let me not use problems, don't define them prematurely. Because if you define this thing as a problem, it will become a problem for you. But actually, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to sit and listen to the word and let the word define your situations for you. Because if the word or leadership is able to define this thing for you, you can use it. But by the time you've already defined it as a problem, it will become an obstacle for you. So something that may look like a problem is actually a situation for you to use for your uprising. So Joseph, who was put in prison, it will look like a problem for him, but actually it was a situation that the word was actually using for his uplifting. That's how we must look at every situation in our life. That's how global leaders look at problems. They don't look at problems. If you look at Donald Trump now, imagine if a Donald Trump saw his persecution as a problem. What he did was, because he's a global leader, he actually said, I'm going to use this thing for my uplifting. I'm going to use this thing for my campaign. And what did he do? He was able to shift and navigate what looked like a problem into being the reason why he wins an election, an attempted assassination. He was able to use that as campaign, as momentum for his uprising. And luckily for us, these are things that we're not taught. But because we enrolled into the school of a PT, and we are able to see from close range how a Pastor Toby deals with what we class as problems, how a Pastor Toby will sit there, go on a channel's TV interview, and how he will begin to actually conduct that interview, something that most people will go into hiding. Most people will begin to shy away. Apostle Toby took that and was able to generate 80 million views for the family. That's what global leaders do. Global leaders look at every situation as an opportunity to rise. I don't know if Reese is on, but I wish Reese was on. So when we're now saying that we can no longer do Roll in Manchester, it's not for you to now go and cry or soak about. It's actually for you to say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to rise. How do I now make a Roll in so lucrative, so valuable that people are begging for you to come and use their space? Because that's the problem. The problem isn't that you haven't created your business to a point where it's valuable enough. Because you see, Joseph was actually accused of rape. He was accused of rape, but he became so valuable that it didn't matter what he had been accused of, because the solutions that he carried were more important than the accusations that he had. So a Roll-in just has to find a way to become more valuable, because if a Roll-in can become more valuable enough, it won't matter. Venues will be begging you. Brand partnerships will be begging you. You won't be saying, are Red Bull gonna help us? No, Red Bull will actually be chasing you. You'll actually be sat there thinking, do I pick Red Bull or do I pick Monster? Do I pick Lucozade or do I pick whatever? Do I pick Nike or do I pick Adidas? But until you can raise Roll-in to be as valuable as the word says it should be, you will be and it's needed. You'll be training. So that I'm gonna call it a situation that's just happened with Manchester and us now going to wherever we're going next. It's actually an opportunity for you now to sit and say, how do I make this more valuable? Let me tell you how. You start with this Sunday, the mobilization that has been given to you. This Monday, the mobilization that has been given to you. And if you can do those things successfully, you will find how to mobilize the community of roller skaters. So much so that you will gather 10,000. What you must begin to, or what a Reese must begin to do now is to think, how do I actually make roller skating the number one sports in the United Kingdom? Because if you're still trying to become the best event center, the best events team in the UK, you're still playing yourself. That's a local fight that doesn't pay. But there are people that invested and made things so valuable. Valentine's Day, can you imagine? Something someone made up became a staple day in our calendar. Can you imagine? In 365 days, somebody made up a day that we celebrate love. Reese must actually make roller skating so big that there is an annual roller skating day on our calendars. That's how you must be thinking. Not, oh yeah, people will think because of Manchester. So in Marcus, in trading, he must actually make a Possum Capital so valuable that it doesn't matter if we send investment pitch or not. People will just hear of a Possum Capital and already want to invest. You see, Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff, he was a fraudster, right? That's what they call him. But can you imagine? People used to beg Bernie Madoff to take their money without seeing results. So yes, I believe in results more 100%. I believe in that. And that side of things is to make you a world-class trader. But you see, what we're now facing is, how do we add value to Possum Capital? How do we make it so much so that people, even without seeing results, are ready to part way with their money? So I think that's where I'm going to round up, because that's 30 minutes now. That's where I'm going to round up this afternoon scope. Like I mentioned, you're going to be seeing a lot of me, so get ready to be sick and tired of me. Unfortunately, I'm available. I'm on ground, isn't it? I'm available. I've got time. So I'll be coming on frequent, maybe every day, maybe every other day. So we have, like I mentioned, we have a task to do. Of course, the official flyer for Monday will be posted in the group chat this afternoon, maybe 3 p.m. Of course, Stephen, thank you very much. Once again, you're just mobilizing people to be tuned in online, and then even let us know in the elite chat. Get people to be sending you screenshots that they're on. So the females that you know in your area, just be telling them, make sure you're on, make sure you're on, make sure you're on, make sure you're on, and be getting them to send you screenshots of all the people that you have on, and just bombard that into the elite chat, saying, I had 10 people tuned in this afternoon. Or they should even join the live and comment, good afternoon, says Stephen sent me, whatever it is, I don't know. But for us to hear that are on ground, that are on soil, we have a duty. There shouldn't be anyone that doesn't at least have one person in the building on Monday. Sorry, on Sunday and Monday, of course. So let's push our registrations in the chat all afternoon. And then, of course, we have our Covenant Thursday service coming up, where the word is going to be coming out, which I look forward to, which we all look forward to. Thank you, Pastor Ryan. Thank you all for tuning in. More like a privilege, 100%. The privilege. That's right. It's a privilege. That's and that's. I think I was saying the other day. I was saying ENG it's a privilege, for me, because it's for me to become a global leader, and for anyone else that sees it as that, you can look at ENG and say, actually, no, this is also my own opportunity to become a global leader. But once again, thank you all. Let's make sure we're pushing on social media, and we're doing everything that we need to do. I'll probably be back on today's Thursday, Friday. Okay, tomorrow we have all day. I might try come on tomorrow. If not, I'll be on Saturday. And maybe I might come on Sunday evening. But yeah, thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Love you all. Peace. Let me try that thing. I'll get better at this, you know. What's the other one? Let me not try that. But yeah, peace. I think it's this that we'll have to do. How do I end the stream? Okay.